Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we get to finish our owl babies, Sarah, Percy, and Bill, sitting on their textured branch. Remember, we talked about texture and painting texture too. That was how something felt. Now, it doesn't actually feel fluffy when we pet these owls. It's just something called implied texture, meaning it looks like we could feel it and it would feel soft, but it doesn't really. That's not a real texture. If it really did feel soft and we added something that felt soft, then it would be real texture, but this is called implied texture. Now, our owls are missing something very important, and that is their eyes, and also their beaks and their wings. So today we get to use oil pastels. They are a little bit like a crayon, but they work more like paint. Another thing is that because they look like paint, they might be a little bit messy. So be extra careful where you're moving that oil pastel because we're not able to erase them. So I'm going to start with making the eyes on my owls. I'm going to start with a brown big circle, and owls have really, really big eyes. So I'm going to make some circles on all of my owls. We're just going to make 2 on Sarah. I'll make 2 smaller ones on Percy. Oops. Now, something happened with my oil pastel, and that is it broke. That is okay. That's going to happen to these a lot. If it does, just use the other part or the bigger part, whichever one. They work just fine. In fact, you're probably going to get some that are not in a wrapper and look more like this. And now I'll add some to little baby Bill. All right, once I do that, then I'm actually going to add that inside of the eye. And that inside of the eye was black. And I'm going to leave one little dot of white there. I'm going to go around and around and leave some white to show the little tiny pupil. Just a little highlight in our eye. So I'm making another circle now. They kind of look like a donut. So I'm making donut eyes on all of them. Leaving that little tiny white circle in there. Now, if I forgot to do that, I could go back and add it with a white oil pastel, but it would be a lot harder to go back and do that. I could do that if I forgot though and colored in the whole eye. What I'm going to do that you don't have to do is I'm going to go back and add some lines around my eyes, just like that. Sometimes owl eyes have this line, they have really big eyes and they have lines around them. So I'm going to practice drawing some lines around my eyes. You don't have to do that. If you want to color yours in all brown around that, you absolutely could. It's up to you how you draw your eyes. Wings. I also might think about what expressions the owls have. Maybe I'll give them a couple little eyebrows if you want to. And now I'll give them their wings. For their wings, it's just a couple curved lines right around the middle of their bellies. So their belly would be right here. I'm going to go ahead and give them all a couple curved lines to show that they have wings and they are owls. All right, then I'm going to get an orange oil pastel. This orange is going to be to show their feet, that they're perched on this branch. So I'm just going to show a few little lines like that.
Some more curvy lines to show that they're all sitting on that branch, and they're really hooked on there because their curved toes really help them sit on that branch. All right.
Now there's a few more details I can add. I'm not going to draw in the beak with oil pastel because we're actually going to use scissors and glue to collage a beak that actually pops out. So before I'm done with my oil pastel though, I'm going to add some more texture. You can add some texture on the tree branch if you would like to draw on that. Give it a little bit more lumps and bumps if yours is a little too flat like mine. And then you can draw some leaves if you would like to show that it's up in a tree. Draw some leaves. All right, but not taking too much time on details like the leaves. You could always add that last. Now I'm going to do something in my sky. I'm going to add a moon. Now your moon could be white. It could be a big circle. It could be a little yellow moon. I think I'm going to make mine in this corner, and I'm going to make it a crescent moon. A crescent moon looks a little bit like this. It's almost like a smile. I'm just going to go ahead and color in my moon. Now, if your yellow oil pastel doesn't show up very well on your dark blue or gray paper, you could do something to make it more dark, which would be adding white. Adding white actually makes it thicker. It gives it a little bit lighter of a yellow color, but it actually makes it a lot brighter. And moons are very, very bright. So I'm mixing yellow with white. That's the fun part about oil pastels, is that you can actually mix colors together and blend them, just like you can with paint. And now that I already have my white oil pastel in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color my stars. For my stars, I'm just going to take the tip of my oil pastel and just do a few dots in the sky, just to show some stars. Dot, 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 dot.
Not making them too big, just little tiny dots in the sky to show some stars. I'm sure it's not. Alright, the very last step
When you're all done with your oil pastels is going to be to cut and glue the beaks. Now, something with the beaks that we're going to talk about is something called symmetry. That means that it's the same on both sides. So, to make my paper symmetrical and the same on both sides, I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it in half, line up the sides. Your paper will probably be orange. I ran out of orange paper at home. Pencil. And on the crease side, not the one that opens, but the one that's closed, this side here, draw a triangle. So I'm going to hold it like this and draw a few triangles. I'm going to draw 3. One bigger one for Sarah, a medium-sized one for Percy, and a little tiny one for Bill. Now I'm going to cut all 3 triangles out really carefully. Now it's very important that
those triangles were cut out on the closed side of the paper, not the open one. So you're going to be really careful. Do a cut and a cut there. And then that triangle will fall out, and that little one is for Bill. Then you go to the next one. Just one cut on that side, another cut on that side. And that's for Sarah. Alright, and then the last one. One cut on this side, one cut on that side, and then my beak falls for, oh, this one was Sarah, the other one was Percy.
Alright, now I gotta glue them on to make them stick. So, I'm gonna use my glue stick. You guys might use glue bottles. They might work a little bit better, but for me, I'm just running it along here. If you're using a glue bottle, you just want to put one dot on the back. Now your beak is going to go down this way. You're going to hold it down for how long do you think? 10 seconds. 10. All right, now it looks like it's a 3D beak that actually pops out. It looks like it could actually talk. All right, go to your next one, glue it down.
Hold it down for 10 seconds.
All right, boys and girls, it's super important that those beaks are really glued on because they're tiny pieces that you might lose. So make sure they're glued on. When you're done with your paper, that scrap could probably be used for another kindergarten student, so you can actually just put it back where you got it from. All right, artists, have fun today. Make sure your names are on your papers too.